Hi, my beautiful quiet spacers. I'm so thrilled you're here. This is your space, a place where we can chat about decluttering not just our homes and businesses, but our hearts and minds too. Welcome to today's podcast. Today we will be discussing the clutter and trauma connection, how trauma impacts your ability to stay organized. We will discuss how emotional, mental, and physical trauma, some things like abuse, divorce, depression, bad memories, can manifest in a cluttered space. Trauma isn't always visible, but its impact on our surroundings can be unmistakable. Clutter becomes a silent cry for help, a physical representation of the emotional chaos within. Today, we'll explore how life's pain can create physical messes, and more importantly, how we can begin to heal through the process of organizing. Let's dive into how unresolved trauma impacts decision-making, creating mental blocks that make it difficult to declutter. Trauma can have profound effects on the brain and mental space, which can manifest in external environments like cluttered or dirty homes. Here's an example of explanation of how trauma impacts the brain and how it relates to the inability to maintain a clean and organized living space. Its impact on the brain function. There are 3 different areas of the brain where trauma alters the structure and function in key areas in the brain. The amygdala hyperactivity. The amygdala, the brain's fear center, becomes overreactive in individuals who have experienced trauma. This can lead to a heightened sense of anxiety, hypervigilance, and difficulty focusing on tasks like cleaning or organizing. The prefrontal cortex suppression is responsible for the executive functions like planning, decision-making, and impulse control. It becomes less active. This makes it harder to prioritize tasks, organize spaces, or even start cleaning. The hippocampus shrinkage. Trauma can reduce the size and functionality of the hippocampus, which is crucial for memory and learning. This may result in disorganized thoughts, forgetfulness, and challenges with forming routines for maintaining cleanliness. So can you see how all of this would impact your brain? It starts with the brain. It's a spiritual blow, literally to the brain. And it causes the brain to freeze up in certain areas so that those different areas are impacted. It affects how you look at things around you, how you just begin to you may just begin to let things go and not see the clutter around you. And life has a way of hitting us all at different seasons, different times in our life. It seems like for some of us, when life hits us, it can hit with so much of a blow that it will stop us in our tracks. It will literally cause us to freeze ourselves and our brains and our hearts and souls in one place. And then when you try to move on and you try to get over it without dealing with the impact, it can literally stop us from growing. It can literally cause us to freeze up in a space and a time and not be functional. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So sometimes for instance, I had a client at one time. I knew her personally, and she was a very clean woman. When I met her, she was a very lively woman. She was very clean. She was very kind. She was always organized. She was just a phenomenal woman. And even when she was going through what she went through, what I'm about to tell you, she still was a phenomenal woman. She was just trapped in time. She had gotten trapped back in time. What happened was, over the years of knowing this client, I began to notice, and some of others of us began to notice that she began to let go in her house. She began to not clean up as much. She began to start rescuing these animals. She began to not just be as clean with her house as she usually was. Because first she was a very pristine, clean, organized, everything in place. Everything has its space. Um, very, very just a beautiful home she had. Very beautiful home, large home, very beautiful. Just a educated, well-rounded woman, very cultured. But again, like I said, we started noticing that she started having a lot of clutter in her house, and she wasn't picking up after herself a lot, and also started noticing that she was picking up these animals, these stray animals from different parts of the town. And I would be like, hey girl, where are these animals coming from? Like, what's going on? Are they going back to their owners? Blah, blah, blah. She'd be like, oh no, I had to rescue them because they needed me. And what happened? There were no owners. These are stray dogs and these are stray cats. And I feel like it's my duty to help them recover. I don't want to take them to a shelter yet. I'm just going to get them well, and they'll be here for a couple of days. Well, let me tell you what ended up happening. Those one or two, three, four, five cats and dogs ended up turning out to be 28 dogs, 27 cats, 5 gerbils, and 6 orangutans. Okay, I'm exaggerating on orangutans, but look, her house literally became inundated with these animals inside of her house and outside. The animals took over almost every room in her house, even her bedroom. And her cats were climbing all over the kitchen. Needless to say, I never ate there again. After when she wasn't clean, I never ate over there again. You know what I'm saying? I didn't bring any food over there. If no, it's not going down, because I'm not about to have cat hairs and rats or gerbil hair in my food. I'm sorry. Much as I love you, much as I remember how you were clean before, not I, said the cat. That's me. So look, so this is the thing. I was so shocked and so just like, oh my God, my heart went out to her, because I'm like, how could this woman that I've known for years, several years, we've known her for several years, how could her house turn out to be like this? Why? What was the source? Why was this happening? Her house smelled to the high heavens with urine and feces. And it was just over inundated, and it was dark. And when she was a woman that was full of light, she always used to have her shades open. She always had soft music going. She was always joyous, had fresh flowers. It was none of that. Her whole entire house was in such a disarray that I was in total shock. Total shock. But when she called me after I hadn't been around for her for a while, and she called me and she asked for me to help her because she had become inundated, and asked me to come over. She trusted me. She said, T, I haven't had anyone over for about 2 years now, and I need to talk to you. I need some help, and I just don't know what to do. And the only reason why she called me was just several reasons why she called me. She knew that I used to help organize and clean houses and help people get their situation. She knew I had a history of doing that. And sometimes she came along with me with some projects that I had. She was a very great woman, very great friend at the time. And so the only reason she called me was because she knew that I could help her, but she didn't call me until the neighbors had called the health department on her because there were too many dogs and cats in the backyard, not including the ones that were in the house. So she got a complaint from the animal people, and she also got a complaint for the welfare people who were complaining, who said that there was a complaint about all the animals and how it was impacting the neighbors, right? So that is why she called me. And she also called me to help her to try to find homes for all the animals, because the authorities said if she could not find homes for the animals, that they would take her animals away and that she would be facing a fine. That is the only reason why she called. But I'm glad she called. So when I sat down with her, we talked and we had a good cry, and I listened to her, and I told her I would help. I took her out of the house so we can get away from that environment. I took her out into a cleaner environment, and I began to ask her questions. Where was this coming from? What's going on? How did this happen? Where do you think this came from? And the more we talked, I realized that, you know what? And she realized when she was a young girl, her parents were married and they went through a terrible, terrible divorce. In the midst of that, they were a family that had a lot of money and they had property, they had land. Their house was always clean. But what happened, they owned horses and they owned these animals because they had a lot of land. They had a ranch, kind of a farm like, but it was like a ranch farm. And they had all these wonderful animals. Well, she loved her animals. But when the divorce came, it changed so many things. And her mother and her father decided to sell their animals, without telling her. And she came home from school one day and all of her beautiful horses and her dogs and other animals, they were gone. Gone. This crippled her at that time. And she froze in time. And she never spoke about it until we talked that day. And so we began to through a process of some emotional cleansing. I talked with her. She cried. I listened to her. And we dealt with some issues there. And yeah, she now remember she was a child then, but at this time when this was going on, she was in her middle. She's about 55, about 54, 55, middle age, right? And so all these years it had not impacted her up until when she turned like 50, and then because this was like a 5-year process from what I'm talking about. So all of this time it did not show up. But as she was aging and as she was looking at life and she was wanting to be married and she was wanting certain things in her life, and she began to cling more to her home and began to cling more to the animals, and all of these things were impacting her. And so it impeded her ability to be able to function. And so it was after we had that talk and we had that time together, that when we came back to the house, she was looked around and was like, "Oh my gosh." I It was like the light went on in her head and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I need to do something. This is not." And she cried and cried and cried and cried. I cried with her. I grieved with her because she was my friend. I don't cry with every client, but she was my friend, and the pain that she went through. So, uh, and we began the process of rehoming those animals, and we began the process of cleaning out her home and cleaning out her space and getting the fleas out and getting the. I had to come in with a hazmat type suit. Yes, I did, and those clothes I did have to throw away because they were contaminated. She had some areas in her home that were contaminated, and we were able to get the house clean, able to get the animals rehomed, and she was able to start that journey, continue that journey of healing. And she began to journal and begin to talk and she even went into a self-help group. So that was good. And we were able to still connect and talk to each other, get her from out of that mental space. So that was a very successful story. So what I'm saying is that a lot of times divorce, a lot of times relationship traumas, divorce or childhood traumas can reflect in our present adult life. And sometimes you can go years without it showing up. And when it shows up, it can literally knock you off track. But you know what? You can always start today. Today is a day that you can go back and start the process of facing the things that broke your heart, the things that broke your brain, the things that broke your mind, the things that broke the hope that you had inside of you. I guarantee you, if you are in a cluttered situation, for the most part, not everyone, because some people it's just you're busy, you don't have time, or you didn't help train your kids right, and they got away with not helping you clean up around the house and all of that. For some of you, this is no issue. This is not why your house is dirty. You just need outside help to help you, or you need your kids to get it together and call in other outside people to help you get some things straight in your home. But I'm talking to the one right now that was broken, that got hit by the blows of life, and you froze in that area. And now your current situation is a hot mess, and it's okay. You are not alone. I have been there. That's why I talk passionately about it. I was essayed years ago, and I went through a season where I just could not clean up. I could not keep my environment clean around me. And it wasn't until I began to seek solace and help from my pain and the issues that I went through. Then I began to see around me, and I began to get my life back. And for you, let's get your life back. Consult with yourself. Consult with somebody. Talk to yourself. Deal with yourself. Go to that place. If you can't go to it by yourself and you need someone to help you, first realize that I have a problem. I need help. And I need somebody to help me get to a place where I can get clean, where I can begin to prioritize and put things in order in my life. Put on some music, put on some happy music. Choose one room or one space to deal with, and begin to get rid of some clutter. Open up the curtains in your house. Light up every room. See what you have in there. Call on your girlfriends or your homeboys and your family and loved ones that you know they got your back, that will help you get situated. In my Charlie Murphy voice, I challenge you. I challenge you to go to that place. Heal that inner little girl. Heal that inner little boy. Heal the parts of you. I'm going to say God for me, because that's what happened with me. That's what happened with a lot of our lives. And whatever you believe in, it's up to you. And whatever higher power you believe in, it's up to you. But let God get to that place inside of you and let him begin the process of healing your soul. Heal your soul. Heal the inner child. Heal that inner brokenness. Heal at the place where you stop growing. When you saw your parents arguing, and when you were in a lot of fear and you shut down, heal that place. When that man or that woman walked out on you and left you for another woman or another man, or left you high and dry in the midst of, after you done helped them and did all you could. Or maybe you wasn't all that, and you was a cheater, you was trifling, and you was the one that was a hot mess. But you know what? Regardless, let's get some therapy. Let's get some love in there. Let's get some hope in there. Let's get some light in those areas so that we can have the ability to live fully in our full essence. I challenge you to tackle the procrastination. Tackle it with love and kindness. Tackle it with fun. And remember, clearing the clutter in your life, mind, and heart will give you a quiet space. This your girl T Rose. I'm so glad you joined me today. Remember to keep, donate, recycle, or discard. Keep those boxes around the house so that as you're cleaning and getting your heart and your home, your life together, it becomes more and more easier to quiet your space, because you deserve it. Are you a busy professional, hardworking woman, mother, friend, sister, or aunt? Are the endless demands of life, children, marriage, work, and family, leaving you so stressed out that it is becoming impossible to clean your house? Are your kitchens, living spaces, closets, are they so disorganized and disheveled and so out of place that walking through them, it feels like your house has been in an explosion? Maybe perhaps you're grappling with health challenges, a mountain of work, Or maybe you have experienced the scars of trauma. Maybe you've been through a difficult divorce, or you're going through a divorce, or possibly going through postpartum depression. Or maybe you've been in a rocky relationship and it had stolen your motivation for life. Or maybe you just have some bad kids who just will not pick up after themselves and they leave all the work to you. Everything is just out of order and out of place in your life, and it's just disorganized and you need help. Perhaps you have pets who are living in your home, and perhaps your home feels like more like a zoo than an actual home. And the pets are stressed out. Are your cats stressed out? Are your dogs stressed out? Is the cat so stressed out that it's urinating and defecating everywhere but the litter box? And for my brave souls battling infestations of roaches, rats, and maggots, is your home facing unsanitary, contaminating conditions? And you need help? Listen, I want you to know you are not alone. With over 19 million people struggling with these same issues, let me tell you, I see you. I'm here for you. Again, I'm T. Rose, your host and your partner in transformation. With over 30 years of experience in helping others declutter and organize their homes, their businesses, and their schools, I am here to help you quiet the chaos and bring peace back into your space and your life. So grab a cup of coffee, take a deep breath, and get ready to transform. Because at Quiet Space Organizers, LLC, we don't just tidy homes, we renew lives. Stay tuned for the Quiet Space podcast. Your sanctuary is just a step away.